Japan and Vietnam have agreed to step up security and defence cooperation. The accord has come during talks in Hanoi between Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc. Now, the deal comes as concerns mount over China's increasing assertiveness in the contested South China Sea. Live now to Tung Ngo in a moment, but first, here's a look at developments so far.
Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga arrived in Hanoi on Sunday as part of his four-day visit to the Southeast Asia. The trip is Mr. Suga's first overseas foray since rising to Japan's highest post last month. In a joint statement, Prime Minister Suga and his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc say peace and security in the South China Sea is among their top priorities. The two sides have also reached a basic agreement allowing Japan to export defense equipment and technology to Vietnam. Also agreed more people movement to help reopen the two economies.
新型コロナ禍からの回復に向けた協力です。本日、ビジネストラックの運用開始と双方向の旅客便の再開でも合意をしました。サプライチェーンの多元化を推進します。
It is a second time in a row that the Japanese Prime Minister chose Vietnam to be the first country for their trip abroad.
Tung Ngo is in Hanoi. Tung, Japan's new Prime Minister, he picked Vietnam for his first official overseas trip. What's the significance of this?
Well, this visit to Vietnam, Japanese Prime Minister Suga to Vietnam, is to affirm Vietnam as a strategic partner in Japan's engagement in Southeast Asia and in Japan's vision for open and free Indo-Pacific. Vietnam and Japan bilateral ties are at its best over nearly 50 years of relations. That is based on high level of political trust and convergence of interest. And economic interest has been a key pillar. But this visit of Japanese Prime Minister to Hanoi is not just to cement economic and investment ties, but also to beef up security and defense cooperation. The two prime ministers, during their talks in Hanoi, expressed concerns over China's actions in the South China Sea and East China Sea, naming it as unilateral actions to change the status quo that are not in line with international laws. But Japan steered away from anti-China rhetoric. At the press conference earlier today, the two prime ministers did not mention China by name. Some experts believe that the significance of this visit is to showcase and to strengthen closing ties between two strategic partners in Asia in response to China's increasing assertiveness in its maritime territorial claims. And also, the visit is demonstrate Japan's efforts to expand influence in the region.
With that in mind then, Tung, were there any major outcomes from today's talks?
12 agreements have been signed following the bilateral talks between the two prime ministers to strengthen bilateral cooperations in area of energy, infrastructure, health, environment, and innovation. Japan has also committed to provide Vietnam with 300 million Japanese yen worth of equipment to combat terrorism. And Japan has also committed to provide Vietnam with 4 billion yen to address COVID-19 pandemic and its impact. And the two prime ministers also agreed to work together to maintain peace and stability, particularly in the South China Sea. And let's take a listen to what Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc has to say on this.
Hai bên tái khẳng định tầm quan trọng bảo đảm hòa bình, an ninh, an toàn, tự do hàng hải và hàng không tại Biển Đông, thúc đẩy giải quyết tranh chấp bằng biện pháp hòa bình, không sử dụng vũ lực hoặc đe dọa sử dụng vũ lực, nghiêm túc tuân thủ luật pháp quốc tế, nhất là Công ước của Liên Hiệp Quốc về luật biển 1982 trong các hoạt động trên biển.
The two prime ministers also reached a substantial agreement that paved the way for Japan's transfer of defense equipment and technologies to Vietnam in the future. And Japan also renewed its commitment to assist Vietnam to improve Vietnam's defense capabilities.